Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Welcome back to Malaysia QFM. As usual, from 9 to 10 a.m. we were going to discuss about policy in Malaysia. Today I'm invited some amazing guests to discuss about this topic, which is national housing policy. Now, before we start our discussion about national housing policy, let me introduce you guys to our special guest. Here we have the Director of Prima, yang berusaha Miss Nurina Wara binti Nordin with the ID of 2024214794. Then we have the Executive of Syarikat Perumahan Negara Berhad SPNB, which is Miss Aina Mardiah binti Ahmad Firdaus with the ID of 2024264106. Then we have the Statutory Bodies and State Economic Development Corporation SEDC, Miss Siti Nurbahia binti Osman with the ID of 2024248474. And then of course, my name is Nur Shabika binti Barisham with the ID of 2024415256. Will be your radio presenter for today that will discuss about the national housing policy discussion. Let me tell you a bit about what is the national housing policy. So national housing policy is a policy where the Malaysian government want to help the lower income and the middle income people, which is the P40 and M40, to have an affordable and a quality house. So in these cases, the Malaysian government want to give a residential property for these groups to have a proper living condition as well as a proper environment so they can continue with their daily life for the people in Malaysia. So the national housing policy is taken from the United Nations Human Replacement Programs from back in the 2011. With this program, the United Nations wants the people to have a proper house with an affordable and a quality house for the price. So with an affordable price, even after they buy the house, they could still properly manage their financial. So the national housing policy in Malaysia become the key frame or the or helping in order for the coordination to everything that regarded to the housing or the making of the housing in Malaysia. So with national housing policy, the Malaysian government can help and also maintain the peace, proper peace, and giving access. So continue with our discussion about NHP. So what are the problems that happen before the NHP is being created? So in 2016, the people found that they are having a trouble with afford a single house because of the market price or the selling price at the time. It is found that the cost for a single house is 2.4 times higher than it is in 2000s, making it less affordable for the people who have lower income and middle income in Malaysia, which is the B40 and M40. So it is also happened that the government failed to coordinate the system database of housing that make mismatch between supply and demand. It is also found that the material to build a single house is made from less material quality that make it less benefits for both developer and also the buyers. The developer also use less technology and use more manpower that make the house cost much higher than it is from 2000, which is the 2.4. Continue with NHP. So when is the NHP being enacted by the government? So in 2017, the government found that there are mismatch between supply and demand, as well as the improper coordination in system housing database. So in 2018, they started to make a policy which is called, what policy we know today as the National Housing Policy, range from the 2018-2025, that ensure the quality and affordable of single houses, as well as the proper database for system housing in Malaysia. In 2019, the government at the time enacted some sub-policy called the National Affordable Housing Policy, which helped the National Housing Policy to have proper and better coordination of housing system database in Malaysia. So from the both policy as well as the sub-policy itself, it helps government to give more proper prices for a single house, as well as scheme to help these people or this group, which is the B40 and M40. For example, the government help this group with schemes such as rent to own, which is the buyers rent a single house and then they pay it until the house is fully paid, and then the house will be automatically theirs. Last but not least, before we start our discussion with our awesome guest, so what is the benefit of National Housing Policy? So National Housing Policy help government to tailor as well as giving proper management of supplies. So with proper management of supplies, the government can make so much more initiative as well as scheme to help the people, such as rent to own and so many more. It is also affordable for the targeted groups, which is the B40 to M40, to finally reach and get a proper house. It also help government to encourage themselves, or an encouragement to build or develop housing for elderly people or villager to support citizen at that time. It's also ensuring equality for all the races in Malaysia at the time, so they have feeling of acceptance as well as feeling of ownership, responsibility and unity in the community in Malaysia. So, Miss Nurinawara, can you tell us what are the main objectives of National Housing Policy? So,
first objective of National Housing Policy is ensuring affordable housing. Affordable housing means that homes that are within financial reach for low and middle income households. In Malaysia, there's the National Affordable Housing Policy, NAHP, that provide quality housing for M40 and B40 income groups through programs like PPAM, Perumahan Penjawat Awam Malaysia, Rumah WIP, Rumah Wilayah Persekutuan, and Projek Perumahan Rakyat, which PPR, in Selangor and Kelang. Besides that, there's There are some federal agencies that support housing development for low-income groups and civil servants through PRIMA and SPNB. Other than that, state governments work like collaborate with private developers on affordable housing projects. Malaysian policies focus on building low-cost homes or subsidizing housing costs, especially for first-time buyers. Various schemes exist, such as My First Home Scheme for young buyers, Prima for middle-income groups, Youth Housing Scheme for married youths, and rent-to-own programs that making home ownership more accessible. Second objective is improving housing quality. Do you know even too many houses meet the minimum quality standards? There, some still fall short due to poor materials and unskilled workers. Although advanced technology available, not many developers are ready to invest in it. This makes developers relying on cheap foreign labor, which does not improve housing quality. Malaysia's housing policy focuses on improving housing quality to ensure better living conditions and economic growth. A comfortable and well-built homes help create a vibrant community, influencing people's behavior and productivity. That's why, to ensure good quality housing for everyone, government or actors related with it must create a guideline such as quality housing standards are integrated into new housing development and redevelopment projects. This is to ensure that every home meets minimum quality standards set by regulations. This approach considers the total cost of a building over its lifetime, helping decision makers choose the best materials and technologies that balance durability and affordability. Besides that, technology utilization, which is advancement in construction technology such as second objective is improving housing quality. Do you know even too many houses meet the minimum quality standards? There, some still fall short due to poor materials and unskilled workers. Last objective of national housing policy is ensures the sustainability of the housing sector. In this case, the national housing policy (NHP) helps the private sector support the government's goal of providing affordable homes for low-income groups. However, many housing projects lack sustainability, failing to balance social needs, economic factors, and environmental impact. Objective of the sustainable housing development in Malaysia focus on strengthening cooperations between federal and state agencies for better policies. Sharing resources to optimize financial, technical, and human support. Other than that, to improving governance efficiency by streamlining regulations to avoid conflicts between government levels. In conclusion, these three objectives set the foundation for transforming Malaysia's housing policies and governance, creating a more efficient, balanced, and sustainable future.
Wow, such a fantastic and have a clear main objective of national housing policy. So now, can I ask Miss Nawara and also Miss Aina to tell our listener who are the actors that involved in process of national housing policy?
First actor involved is where I'm in it, which is Prima. The Perumahan Rakyat Malaysia Prima program was launched in 2011 to help income Malaysians buy affordable homes, especially in urban areas. In 2014, the rent-to-own scheme and 110% financing were introduced to make it easier for buyers to buy own homes. By 2015, over 18,000 homes were already being built. And recently, in August 2024, Prima had developed 88 projects or 54,137 homes. Of these, 61 projects were complete while 27 were still under construction or being planned. Prima goals is to focus on creating comfortable communities with key amenities in strategic locations across Malaysia. By pricing homes around 20% lower than market value to ease financial pressure. Prima has addressed housing challenges by resolving 18 out of 24 problematic housing projects. The remaining 6 projects in Melaka, Kedah, Negeri, Sembilan and Kelantan are expected to be complete by the end of the year.
Next, I will explain about Syarikat Perumahan Negara Berhad or SPNB. SPNB is a government-owned company in Malaysia that helps people, especially those with low and middle incomes, to own good and affordable homes. So, what does SPNB do? SPNB builds houses. SPNB builds houses for people who already own land but can't afford to build a house on their own. They use a smart and fast building method called the Industrialized Building System (IBS). It helps build homes that are strong and completed faster at lower cost. SPNB also renovates old homes. SPNB repairs houses that are in bad or unsafe condition. These include fixing roofs, walls, toilets, plumbing, and electricity, especially in rural areas where it's hard to get help. SPNB also runs two main housing schemes, which is RMR1 and RMR Plus. RMR1M is for low-income families who have land but live in poor housing, while RMR Plus is for people who don't qualify for RMR1M but still needing help. RMR Plus is for people who don't qualify for RMR1M but still need housing help. Both programs help people get homes at lower cost with easier financing. So, because of so because of that, SPNB makes sure the homes are in good quality, comfortable, and affordable. They also work with banks to give easy loans with low monthly payments. Moreover, SPNB also made fair and clear process. SPNB checks all application carefully. They make sure only people who truly need help get it. Applicants must show documents like proof of income and land ownership. SPNB also works with local authorities to follow the law.
Such a good cooperation between Prima and SPNB all together to make the policy successful. So, how does the implementation of this national housing policy happen? Could Miss Aina Mardia tell us a bit about it?
Moving on, I will explain about the implementation of the National Housing Policy (NHP). So, this policy mainly focuses on helping low and middle income families, also known as the B40 and M40 groups, as well as first-time home buyers, the elderly, disabled persons, and single parents. So, let's look at some simple strategies used to make this happen. The first one is make affordable housing projects. The government is building more affordable homes through programs like People's Housing Program, PPR, and Prima Homes. These houses are built in strategic locations close to public transport, schools, hospitals, and job opportunities. This helps families live in safe and comfortable homes without being pushed too far away poorly developed areas. Standardized design are used to reduce costs and speed up construction while still keeping homes safe. Next, easy access with a centralized digital platform. So, to help people find and apply for these homes more easily, the government created a digital platform through the National Housing Information Center (NHIC). Well, this website helps you see what houses are available, check the prices, and learn about eligibility and how to apply. So, this makes the process faster, clearer, and more transparent. Moreover, financial support and housing loans. Many families struggle with the cost of buying a home. To help with this, the government offers financial support, such as lower interest rates, help with down payments, and longer repayment periods. One example is Kim Rumah Pertamaku, my first home scheme. It helps first-time buyers who have limited savings or income to get a housing loan. These supports make it easier to own a home and helps families move toward financial stability. Then, special help for vulnerable groups. Finally, special help for vulnerable groups. For groups that face extra challenges like single parents, especially single mothers, and people with disabilities, the government provides housing subsidies, priority placement in public housing, and special loans with relaxed conditions. Also, some housing areas also include childcare services and job training programs. This not only gives them a home but also help them live independently and build a better future.
Wow, what a good strategy for implementation of national housing policy explained by Miss Aina. So, as we know, this policy demonstrates the government commitment to social welfare as well as sustainable development for our country. So, Miss Aina and Miss Norbahya, care to tell me what is your evaluation of national housing policy from the range of 2018 to Wow, what a good strategy for implementation of national housing policy explained by Miss Aina. So,
I'm Bahya. So for now, I will be explaining about the evaluation of NHP together with Aina, the usage of SWOT method. Here we have the evaluation of the effectiveness of the policy, which is strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat.
Let's talk about the National Housing Policy (NHP) and why it is so important for Malaysia. The NHP is not just about building houses, it's about improving lives, especially for people in the B40 and M40 income groups. Let's look at some of the key benefits. According to recent findings, one of the biggest benefits of the NHP is that it helps more people get affordable housing. This means people no longer have to pay high rent or loans. Families can save money and use it for important things like food, education, healthcare, and savings. Over time, this helps people become more financially stable and can even break the cycle of poverty. Another benefit is a better quality of life. As Chia 2013 said, families get to live in safe, clean, and well planned homes. This reduces stress, improves mental health, and helps build stronger family relations. People feel happier and more secure in their homes. Lastly, the NHP helps create better communities. Houses are built with access to water, electricity, schools, public transport, and hospitals. They use eco-friendly materials and energy-saving designs. This makes housing cheaper to maintain and better for the environment. This makes housing cheaper to maintain and better for the environment. All these features help build a greener, healthier, and more connected society, which supports Malaysia's long-term development.
So, moving on to my part, which is weakness, opportunity, and threat. Weakness, as we know.
Let's talk about the National Housing Policy (NHP) and why it is so important for Malaysia. The NHP is not just about building houses, it's about improving lives, especially for people in the B40 and M40 income groups. Let's look at some of the key benefits. According to recent findings, one of the biggest benefits of the NHP is that it helps more people get affordable housing. This means people no longer have to pay high rent or loans. Families can save.
So, we go to the opportunity. Opportunity here refer to job opportunity and the economic. As we also know, when affordable housing is established, they will seek workers to fill in the various positions, and at the same time, it can be an opportunity to them and who want to find a job. For example, renting responsibilities to keep ground very much oversaw and clean. Also, the security by ensuring the safety of homeowners around the place always secure. So, when they have a job, it can increase the individual income and local economic development. It also can reduce the financial burden when they have a good economic financial. So, last but not least is trade. One of the trade is the rising of construction costs. It refers to increasing in cost of material to build the affordable housing. Building material price continue to rise because of the economic condition. Furthermore, it can be affecting to the delay project of making affordable housing and not enough budget due to this problem. So, government must take some action by increasing the financial allocation before implementing this affordable housing.
Wow, such a good explanation from our guests about national housing policy. So what I can conclude for national housing policy is that NHP help the government to properly adjust as well as have a better coordination of supply and demands of housing in Malaysia. It also help the people have an affordable prices for a single house that help the main reason of this policy, which is to help the B40 and M40 groups to have an affordable house with some of scheme like rent to own, as well as proper adjustment on what they do, as well as the benefit strength from the SWOT, as well as this NHP also helps us subconsciously will help increase social equity to help the national development in Malaysia. So from the national development itself, it also can help government lay a strong foundation in a balanced, inclusive, as well as sustainable housing sector for the future of the group, as well as peaceful and harmony life in Malaysia. So that is all what you need to know about national housing policy. Intriguing, right? I hope all the listeners who listen to today's episode are amazed how our government help the people in Malaysia. And thank you so much for our special guest that accept my invitation to explain about national housing policy and help people aware by listening to our radio station. So, see you again for the next episode. Coming from the Malaysia Ku FM. See you again. For now, goodbye.